Good morning, dear Dharma friends. Hello, Jim Dalton. Well. Another morning. It is the 17th of February, 2021. It's above freezing. The ice continues to diminish. Here, frozen in other parts of the country. This is a broadcast of the Portland Insight Meditation Community. And I'm Robert Beatty. I'm coming to you from Portland, Oregon. It is our intention in coming together in the mornings to practice the Eightfold Path of the Buddha, particularly that of meditation, the part of it that's meditation, for the benefit of all beings, for our families, for our loved ones, for ourselves, taking responsibility for these human consciousnesses and our thoughts and words and behaviors. I have a lovely poem for us this morning. I spent yesterday, maybe there's a picture here. Let me just see if it transferred over. That would be nice if it did. Oh, there's this, yes. I don't know if it'll show. Yeah, that'll work. You can probably see this okay. I spent yesterday with little Charlie. The plan was I'd be there, my daughter's new dog, and my plan was to be there for 2 or 3 hours, and then she got locked out of her car and it turned into a whole saga. So I spent the day with this little beautiful creature. Lovely dog, my goodness. And that inspires this reading this morning. And my fingers are crossed. I have unplugged everything that's not required, and I'm hoping that we can have an uninterrupted broadcast today. It's from, John O'Donohue. There it is. A man who died way too young to learn from animal being. Nearer to Earth's heart, deeper within its silence, animals know this world in a way we never will. We who are ever distanced and distracted by the parade of bright windows that thought opens. Their seamless presence is not fractured thus. Stranded between time gone and time emerging, we manage seldom to be where we are, whereas they are always looking out from the here and the now. May we learn to return and rest in the beauty of animal being. Learn to lean low, leave our locked minds, and with freed senses feel the earth breathing with us. May we enter into lightness of spirit and slip frequently into the feel of the wild. Let the clear silence of our animal being cleanse our hearts of corrosive words. May we learn to walk upon the earth with all their confidence and clear-eyed stillness, so that our minds may be baptized in the name of the wind and the light and the rain. May we enter into lightness of spirit and slip frequently into the feel of the wild. Let the clear silence of our animal being cleanse our hearts of corrosive words. That's a paragraph, isn't it? Let the clear silence of our animal being cleanse our hearts of corrosive words. May we learn to walk upon the earth with all their confidence and clear-eyed stillness, so that our minds might be baptized in the name of the wind and the light and the rain. It's to learn from animal being. John O'Donohue. And there's something about being human, passed down for 2,600 years, the teachings of the Buddha. I take refuge in the Buddha, the one who shows me the way in this life. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya. I take refuge in the Dharma, the way of understanding and love. Namo Dharmaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Dharmaya. I take refuge in the Sangha, the community of mindful harmony. Namo Sangaya, Namo Sangaya, Namo Sangaya. In this time which worships, in a way, consumption and activity and production, let's do something very different. Let's take the seed of our awakening right here, right now. And let's really notice what's happening. We could notice there's consciousness. We're actually present in a way. Somehow we can know that we're present. And there's a body here. There's a living body. And with this awareness and some objects of awareness, we can follow the path of the Buddha. We will pay attention to breathing and thoughts and mood, sensations pleasant and unpleasant, and watch how they all come and go. The truth is really simple. Simple to think about. Challenging to realize. Everything changes. Everything really changes. So let us begin with awareness of breathing in and breathing out. Each breath really does have a beginning. Each breath comes into being, rises to fullness, declines, and then vanishes. And we can let go of any stories, fantasies, plans about new and improved breathing. Letting the body breathe in its animal way. And when the mind wanders, awareness very naturally illuminates this wandering, and it's very simple to come back to the breath. No struggle, no battle. As we are more and more fully intimate with in-breathing and out-breathing, it becomes apparent that there is really no such thing as a breath. There is a process that begins and continues to fullness and then declines and then disappears. For the purposes of our meditation, we abandon knowing anything. There's just this moment, animal being, this moment of being aware of sensations either at the nostrils and upper lip, or perhaps in the abdomen and chest. In exactly the same way that breathing occurs, thoughts occur. They're part of nature. There are thoughts and longings that have to do with desire and wanting things to be a certain way. Wanting security and pleasure, ease. There are thoughts of rejection and aversion and disliking. Again, seeking ease, contentment. There's the whole phenomenon of restlessness and agitation and worry. Lots of that rooted in survival needs as well. There's sleepy dullness and blurring out and inability or unwillingness, incapacity to accept reality as it is. And there's doubt. The confusion about, is this the path I want and need to be on? All of these phenomena arising in the present moment as objects of observation. Each breath is a living invitation to simply be here now. There are many stories in the human mind. There are stories from the past. There are stories from the future. Fantasies about how the future will or will not be. They come with emotions. They come with liking and disliking. They come with fear. They come with hopefulness. They come with despair. In this moment, we learn to perceive, to know these stories, these fantasies, as what they are, phenomena in mind. Such a relief. This present moment is exactly this. There could be the visiting of great peace and ease. There could be uproar. There could be anything in between. The mind could be easily concentrated right now, or it could be tumult. There could be attacks of remorse or shame, or great ease and bliss. One thing there is at least occasional awakeness, awareness, knowing. The body is, in fact, breathing in and breathing out. There are some sounds, if not something else. There is the coming and going of this sound episodically. Please let us remember the aspiration, the remembrance of loving. I aspire to love and accept myself exactly as I am in this moment. Let's give up making meditation a battle or war. I aspire to love and accept myself, which is all that is experienced. I aspire to accept and love myself exactly as I am in each moment, in this moment now. Perhaps feel the life in your hands and your chest as you do this. Or maybe your whole body. Gratitude for this animal body. We're prone to hurting, to injury. We're certainly prone to loss. And so whenever I'm hurting, no matter how I'm hurting, I aspire to hold myself in sweet compassion. You know, the way you hold a small child or an injured animal or a friend, when they're really hurting. There's just that enveloping of them in your caring. They don't have to be any certain way. They can just be themselves. Whenever I'm hurting, no matter how I'm hurting, no matter how I'm suffering, I aspire to hold myself in sweet compassion. And we practice for the benefit of all beings, for our loved ones, those with whom we live or deal frequently. We aspire to be sane, to be tolerant, to be wise, kind. And we can use this longing to help us reflect upon some loved one. This is a person who has the same longings for safety, for love, for compassion that you do, that we all do. Why not wish them well? Surround them with love. If your mind visualizes easily, imagine the golden or white light surrounding them. Or imagine the look in their eyes when they suddenly realize they're deeply loved and safe. The relief in their hearts. And distance and time are no obstacles in this. Be specific. May this person who in this lifetime played the role of my mother, my father, my first pet, whoever it is, glad and open, sweeten your heart toward them. And now expanding to others, to friends, to colleagues. There's a list of categories that are commonly used. Friends, loved ones, colleagues, neutral persons, persons who bear the role of enemy or adversary, beings to the north of us and the south of us, to the east and the west, above and below, beings of the air, earth, and the waters, beings of the trees, beings who migrate, beings who burrow. beings who are being born right now and beings who are dying right now. And coming home now, particularly to this being, to this incarnation, this meat body. Hold yourself kindly. Make an intention to hold yourself kindly all day. There will be expansive mental states and contracted mental states, most probably. There'll be clarity and confusion, liking and disliking. Receiving it all. Observing the great show of being, this great show of life. And please now bringing awareness into the eyes and the face and the throat. And undertake this beautiful transition practice from sitting and inwardly focused to intentionally allowing the eyes to open. Allowing the eyes to open and be aware of seeing. And we can do this seeing with the eyes of blessing, the eyes of gratitude, the eyes of just this. Imagine having a community of practice where day after day you can meet for encouragement and support and to do this very strange thing, practicing being awake. Well, I probably should do a mention of the announcements. Thank you for being here. I'm impressed with the simplicity of this broadcast, too. Nothing collapsed yet. Jim, you're teaching Saturday, I believe. Yes. Thank you for that. And I have a retreat coming up, not this weekend, but the following weekend. There's still space. That's on the website. You can find it under retreats. Be a weekend of sitting and walking meditation and some teaching, some Dharma talks. It's titled Compassion and Love, I think. But I'm going to do a shallow dive, in a way, into the Paticca Samuppada, the 12 steps of dependent origination, around the notion of the choices that we get to make. This choice we get to make of being identified and attached with the neurotic mind or not. So that'll be a theme that'll go through the weekend. And Candle Sunday nights continue twice a month. And there's always the opportunity to participate in the financial life of PIMC as a place where right these days it's the metaphorical doors, but keeping the doors open so that new people can discover the place and have the transformation of their lives that's happening all the time through the Portland Insight Meditation community. So I think that's all I really want to say. And to invite you, if you have something you'd like to bring forward, please do. just unmute yourself, and I think it should all work fine.
Robert, this is Steffi. I'm wondering, this weekend's retreat that you said it's identified with the neurotic mind. Can you just say a little bit more about that?
About what? About what? About disentangling from the neurotic mind?
Sure, yeah, or just a little bit more of a selling point. I have somebody who I want to go to the retreat.
Aha.
So.
Oh, a selling point. Tell them it will change their life. They'll have more fun. Food will taste better. Music will sound better. But that's probably, you want something other than that. How about this? It'll be 2 whole days in which we will be cultivating safety, both in ourselves and between ourselves, between each other. And the central idea is to be aware of what the mind is doing. And so when the mind does its self-hatred or judging of others, or its unworthiness attacks, or self-criticism attacks, that we'll be developing the ability to see those as what they are, which is thoughts. That normally we take every thought very seriously. And in the course of a day, there are thousands of them. And mostly we don't even know they're thoughts. We just think that's who we are. And so then we react to them. And then we go to our coping mechanisms. And that's where addiction comes in, and all of our various compulsions. That we can't bear the present moment as it is because we don't know how to stabilize. And we don't know how to be awake and disidentify from the contents of mind. So, and that's where self-love comes in. That if we can experience, only if we can experience what's actually happening in the present moment, can we choose to make other choices. We can choose to use different coping strategies. So is that any help?
Yes, that's great. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
There's another thing that I could suggest, and this might be a lot, but I could probably find here pretty quickly. I can do it even as I speak, I think, multitasking. Let me go here to find, where is it? It's called Morning Links. Here they are. I'm going to put on come on now. Yes, it's working. I'm copying something from one program, and I'm coming back now to Zoom, and I'm going to the chat, and I'm posting here. Oh, good. Hang on. Emily, would you like to speak about what you posted here? Just for a moment, but let me finish with this first. I just posted links to the opportunity for offering Donna to PIMC, the Hollyhock Retreat, and also and this is what I was thinking of, Steffi, the Rob Orman podcast. A very good interviewer spent almost 2.5 hours with me interviewing me a month ago, and he created this really nice podcast, which you might give that to your friend. All right. Emily, you want to speak about the Metta evening?
Sure. Thanks, Robert. Hi, Sonia. Just every month we're doing a monthly meta in support of a racial justice organization in Portland. And it's tonight on Zoom, and I put the registration link in the chat. We'll be meeting every third Wednesday of the month at 6 p.m. And we'll have a representative from the organization we'll be supporting tonight, which is the Equitable Giving Circle. They're doing mutual aid mainly through food and housing work in Portland to support Black, Indigenous, and people of color. So would love to have you there in support. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Emily.
Good morning, Robert. It's Joe.
Hello, Jill.
I wanted to thank you because, in particular this morning,
Joe.
as I was meditating with your help, I dislodged a lot of judgment and forgave people in the past year and in my work history that were adversaries or enemies, and whether the hats they were wearing proclaimed themselves as one group or whether it was an employer-employee relationship. But I realized I carried all this judgment and negativity that I didn't need to carry.
Phew.
So I went and forgave all of them, as many as I could think of in the present moment. And if you hadn't spoken with everyone in the Sangha this morning and I had not been here, I would not have done that. So your good deed for the day is done, my friend. Thank you very much.
You know, my boy, I can undo the knot in my Boy Scout tie. Did you ever hear that? That you had to make a knot in your tie until you did a good deed, and then you could undo it. So.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, may this practice continue for you. It's such a relief. It's such a relief, you know, to acknowledge. I mean, it's sort of ludicrous in a way, but the great surprising statement: the past is over.
Yes, yes.
How weird! Congratulations.
I don't need it.
Right. Enjoy.
Thank you. Have a great day.
The past is over.
Hey, Robert.
Hello.
Hi. I have been reading a book by Pema Chodron. I think that's how you say her name. When Things Fall Apart. And
Oh, great book.
Yeah. There was a concept she was talking about in there called Maitri, or Maitri, however you say that. I thought that was kind of interesting, and I was wondering if you could talk a little more about that.
You know, I have forgotten what that means. It's a Tibetan term, but can you? Why don't you tell us what it means?
Well, I was just trying to kind of grasp it a little better, but my understanding is that it has to do with seeing yourself as you actually are, and then accepting and loving that. Does that sound right?
It sounds absolutely beautiful and right on. Yeah. I just have forgotten what that term, you know, how that's defined, but I think it's it's got love and compassion in it, doesn't it? And also clarity, clear seeing. My sense is it's that intuitive knowing both of how we are as separate beings, but also how we are embedded in life. And how we are all of life. And we can relax then. Imagine that. You know, I've never read that book from front to back, but I've used it in several life crises. You know, in the middle of a divorce with a custody battle and the death of my parents, and That's a book. I actually have the paper book, and it's on my bookshelf, and I just open it up to some page, and it's like the I Ching sort of. This is the page I need to hear today, and it's always very beautifully right on the money. So when things fall apart, and oddly enough, they really do, don't they? Thanks for sharing.
This is Vic.
Vic, hello.
Hello, good morning.
Vic with the hunting fox. I love that.
Got a fluffy tail. I think somebody put this on the chat too, but I think Maitri is the Sanskrit word for metta.
Oh, you're right. It is. That's right. Yeah.
So they mean the same thing.
Love. Loving kindness. That's right.
Good morning, Robert. Good morning, Sangha. It's Jessica.
Hello, Jessica.
I don't know why this just dawned on me, but I realized it came up in my meditation this morning. There'd been some conversation in prior mornings about folks being interested in The Year to Live by Stephen Levine and starting a group. And this morning I recognized, as much as I even sometimes go through the 5 recollections, I think about, that we're all going to die. I realize that there's just, when I really sit with it, just incredible pit of fear still. And because there's a part of me that writes down and says, oh, that's something I should do. And then there's the other part of me that's just like, oh, girlfriend, forget that. And it's just this deep pit. And I didn't know if you could speak a little bit about that, because I hear myself now kind of going, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with my meditation that I can't get over this death thing? And so it may be too big for right now, but I welcome any thoughts on how to process this a little better, because it's surprisingly painful.
I don't think there's anything that we keep secret from ourselves more than the reality of death. There's something that hovers when you started talking about it, that I recently had a moment of well, Jen and I, over the last couple of years, we've been getting our ducks in a row for our eventual departure, and whether it's today or 10 years, and getting literally the documents together, and they're all in one place, so the kids would just be able to go to there, and I have a friend who has access to a Dropbox account that would give him exactly how to help, and if we should both die quickly in a car wreck or something. And but then there's this reflection of saying goodbye to my kids, and it's right here. It's that, whoa, that's really true. If I get a chance to, I'm actually going to say bye. It's been a great dance. I'm so glad you came into my life, and So that's really that's pretty interesting to me how potent that is when I make it real like that. And in the 5 daily recollections, all that is mine, beloved and pleasing, will become otherwise. Now, most of my stuff I'm not particularly attached to anymore, but it's the people. The stuff, it's all replaceable. But and so that's why it's such a central reflection in the Buddhist teachings. I was visiting with my daughter yesterday, and we had dinner together last night, and then I was aware leaving, it was a little hard to leave. We were having a nice time, and I'm coming home, and things are nice at home, and there's connection here, and there's my dog, and Jennifer, and but there was a little clinging to us, like I didn't want that beautiful moment to end, and so there's fear in that, and so that's I think why it really makes sense to bring it to consciousness, and to do the Year to Live book, or to do the 5 daily recollections, and to feel the clinging in it, to feel the sadness that's there, and then to recognize that that's not who you are. Right? That's the conditioned mind that's got its beliefs about things. But it's very prompting. What's the word? Promoting of practice. A lot of P's in that. So is that what you were looking for, sort of? Mm-hmm. And I guess the other thing of it is I'm editing here. That guy that shows up on this picture here with you often, that beautiful man, that relationship exists in time. And so that's the thing that really gets me, that I many mornings I go in after practice, and I see Jennifer for the second time of the day. I see her a little bit in the dark when I get up a couple hours ago, and I spend a little while just looking. But I walk in, and here's this person, and I I've had enough divorces to know that no relationship is permanent. but it's true. And so the way that I greet her is more poignant for me. So, sometimes she's just up and she's groggy, and it's like, oh God, hello, Robert. But that's okay. That's who she is in that moment. So it's about, I don't know, it's like meat tenderizer. It softens up the heart a lot. And then it makes special that, oh gosh, I'm having dinner again. What a cool thing. And it's all arising and disappearing, which is then greatly liberating, ultimately liberating. Thanks for asking.
Of course, if I do join a group on that, I'm going to have to go back to your reflection early on in a retreat where it's like, Jessica, the tears thing, you just have to see it. This isn't me, tears arising. So that will be a special, just practical practice.
I've become so much more teary, and I it's so interesting, and I have a little embarrassment about it. Oh, there's that beautiful man. There he is. We were talking about you. I was talking about you.
I was right over there.
Oh, you were here. I see. Oh, darn. that I don't know what it was, but something when I had my brain surgery, and it isn't an artifact of the surgery, but it was an artifact of how here's the tears. It wasn't it. I didn't have a near-death experience in that I wasn't close to dying, but I had a really extraordinary experience in that, particularly that first day when I was hallucinating and I was on this bad medicine that was bad for me, and the anguish of it, the terror of it, and then all those weeks of just sitting on the couch doing nothing. The poignancy of being alive just got to kind of like a white heat, and I touch it often these days. It's like, and the beauty of people making efforts to be kind to each other, it just touches me, and you know, it is a little embarrassing, these tears in public, and I fight them off as best I can, but it's frequent. All we can do is be the best. All you can do is be the best Jessica you are. And that's with the neurotic tendencies and the self-hatred and all that stuff that we have. All we can do is love ourselves with that. And that's where healing comes from, of course. It's not like when I say all, it's not like it's a little, it's a huge thing. But I mean, it's a giant saying, I aspire to love and accept myself exactly as I am in this moment. That's a monster statement. Well, what about your compulsions? Oh, well. What about that crappy stuff you did in your 20s? Oh, well, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that about me. It's like, it's over. Yeah. Thank you, my dear.
Robert and Tsonga, it's Brian.
Hello, Brian.
Hey, just to try and follow up on that very touching response that you just gave. Something that has been very, very transformative for me is hospice work.
Oh boy.
I came to hospice work because I sat with my grandmother. Wow. Now I'll start. I'll join in the waterworks here. It was just the two of us when she passed, and it was this really pretty amazing experience. And from that moment, it's really hard to explain, but the best I could probably do succinctly here is to say that it was pure love and pure loss, like at the same time, which really sort of gave me an entirely different outlook on the transition, on the passing. I then got into hospice work, which took on two folds for me. One is to, sit with someone on a regular basis for me, what was a number of months, and one patient, like a year and a half. And to be on hospice, you have a 6-month diagnosis. And then the other was video volunteering, which is, I could get a call at any moment, and it's like somebody might not make it through the next hour. And they're by themselves. Can you go sit with them? And it really, again, it was an amazing number of experiences. It really transformed at least the fear that I would walk around with on a day-to-day basis about death. And the whole year to live process, I'm hoping will transform, when I get to that point, because I don't have a lot of confidence that, transforming the day-to-day thing is necessarily going to translate for me when I'm actually in that moment. But the hospice work was really very helpful in just how I view that transition. I mean, personally, I don't feel that anyone really dies. We leave this body clearly, but that's just another part of our journey, I think. So anyway, maybe some of you will find that helpful.
Thanks, Brian. I'd like to echo the comforting nature of being present when someone dies. It's so clear that something leaves, and then you're left with this husk. But it's so smooth, and in my experience. He says, taking a big, deep breath. Well, anybody else want to share something? I was just reminded that I should make a note of this. Make a note. Actually, I'm going to talk to my watch. Remind me to set up the day on remembering death. There, it'll be on my to-do list now. I usually do that sometime in February, March of each year, and I should get it on the calendar and do it. Well, shall we sing our way home? Sing for our breakfast? Anybody want to share anything before we go? All right, then. Please unmute yourself. And what I like to do at this point is I like to put it on speaker view, and then as different people's voices capture there. Oh, hello, Annabeth. As different people's voices capture the microphone, they pop into the screen. It's really delightful. So, may all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. The finest Gregorian chant could not hold a candle to us. Thank you, dear friends. Have a lovely day.
Thank you all.
Have a beautiful day, dear friends.
Look forward to being with you again soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Goodbye, friends on YouTube and Facebook. Looks like it worked well today.